To be honest, living abroad as an adult can be very lonely, especially if you're an introvert like me. Hi, this is Cloris. How are you doing? I'm a naturalized German and have been living in Germany for almost 8 years. In this video, I will share my experience and story from friends that helped us build real friendship in our 30s. First of all, joining a sports club or attending a church service. One of the first things that I have learned is that connections often grow through consistency and regular attendance. That can be a local sports club, a hobby group, a language exchange, or any recurring community activity. When I first moved to Germany in my 20s for my master's studies, it was so easy to make new friends. There were just so many international students around me. However, after I started a full-time job, I realized that just hoping to meet people naturally wouldn't work. So I just started with the classic, joining a Verein, which means a club or hobby group. As I started playing golf last year, I did my Platzreife, which is a license for golfing in Germany. In the DACH region, that means Germany, Austria, and Switzerland. You know, in Germany, you need a license for some activities such as golfing, fishing, etc. And after that, I joined a golf club. For other hobbies, you can just pick a local sports club. You can do hiking, basketball, badminton, volleyball, board games, music, whatever interests you. To be honest, at first it was intimidating because I didn't know anyone there. I've always had this irrational fear of talking to strangers. It also seemed that they all knew each other already. I felt like an awkward foreigner in the corner. As an introvert, I'm always holding myself back, and I hesitate a lot to initiate any conversations. But with the same interest, it makes conversation much easier, especially with other non-local players. I've met both German and non-German friends. At the beginning, when I was doing the Platzreife, I met 2 Japanese friends because we attended the training for the license. It took around 3 half days to finish the training. During those 3 consecutive days, we met each other and practiced together. For Asians, the biggest connection between us is probably not golf, but food. Therefore, we hang out sometimes for food, such as hot pot and dim sum, and we love sharing food. It's just a good way to bring people together. And later on, I forced myself to join a golf activity on Friday evening, at least to just put myself out there to socialize with people. And that day, I was put into a group to play with the other 3 guys, and then slowly it worked. The conversation usually start with, how long have you been playing golf, or are you a member of this club, etc. And obviously, I look like a foreigner, so they usually would ask me, how long have you been living in Munich and what are you doing here, etc. And slowly it worked, and we exchanged our contact and we started to play with each other from time to time, and those faces became familiar. People started chatting with me. My trainer started chatting with me because they see me more often. I've also met some other players to play together. So after we've known each other for longer, like a few months or something, they invited me to join their WhatsApp group, so it's easier to coordinate with each other. What's special about golf is that you can play by yourself and you can also play with 2-3 more people, and some of them have actually known each other since school, so they have known each other for maybe 10 or 20 years, and I feel very honored that I am invited to join the group. Sometimes it's also a matter of luck, but still a common interest plays a very important role here. Meanwhile, I've also tried to attend church services on Sundays, not because I'm religious, but because it offers another consistent way to be around with people. I also work from home mostly, so I really need more social activities. Over time, people can just notice you. They remember your name, not because you're loud, but because you just show up. I think in our 30s, consistency just builds more trust. We don't have to impress anyone, but just show up. For introverts like me, I think we need just more time to open up to people. It takes time, but it works eventually. Especially in Germany, I think people also need more time to open up compared to other countries like Southeast Asia or Latin America. There's a psychological concept called the mere exposure effect. It basically means that the more often we see someone, the more comfortable and trusting we feel around them. That's why showing up regularly works better than attending one big social event. It's definitely not easy to make friends, especially in countries like Germany, but if you are open enough to meet people, you don't really have to go to kindergarten or get a romantic partner to make new friends. And the second thing I would recommend is volunteering. When I was living in Göttingen, I used to volunteer at the animal shelter, just walking dogs. and this is my favorite volunteer work. I really enjoyed this volunteering because I could walk the dog in the forest. It's like the best activity to relax and just immerse yourself into the nature. Usually I would go with another Vietnamese friend and we met other volunteers as well. You don't need to even start a small talk. When there's a dog pulling on the leash, conversations just happen naturally. I also know some male friends who became volunteer firefighters, which is also very common in Germany. They train together, respond to situations together, and slowly build trust. And that's the beauty of volunteering. You are all working towards something very meaningful, so the connections feel even deeper and more authentic. Why this works for introverts? Because first of all, you are not forced to talk to people all the time. Second, you see the same people regularly. And third, you bond through shared purpose. And this kind of adult friendship is the best. The third way I build friendship is through online groups. It could be Facebook groups, meetup events, or expat groups. To be honest, I haven't joined a lot, but my friends did. There are just so many different kinds of groups. Some focuses on entrepreneurship, some are about tech, some about language exchange, and you name it, or simply some groups for people from your hometown. These days, I think having friends from my hometown, international friends, and local friends are equally important. I ended up meeting several friends this way, and I still meet them regularly and establish a stronger bond because we just understand each other's struggles more. It's easier to make friends when they're also living in this foreign country alone. The good thing about being in your 30s is that you can instantly tell with whom you vibe with and you don't try to please anyone. It saves a lot of time and energy, and of course you're also happy having some me time. Just like me, having new genuine connections are just like bonus but not necessity. Online groups helped me meet people who are also looking for friends. It allows introverts to approach socializing on their own terms. In fact, I think introverts can fit into German society more easily than extroverts because in general, people respect each other's boundaries and personal space more, and they just don't like small talks. If you're interested to see what I experience as a highly sensitive person with an introverted personality in Germany, you can check out this video here. In that video, I share why I feel more comfortable living in Germany than in East Asia like Hong Kong, which is very international and urban city. Now for my most unexpected story, the dating app. Obviously, I downloaded dating app for dating. Instead of a partner, I found friends. Apparently, algorithm thought that I need more social life than romance. Growing up, I have both male friends and female friends, so for me it's very normal to have male friends. I met one friend in Göttingen through dating app. He became this friend that I trust so much that I could talk to him about anything, and I also trusted him so much that I authorized him to return my old apartment's key to the property management team and sign some papers for me because I left Göttingen earlier than the apartment handover date, so I had to authorize someone to do this for me, and he's just so kind and so reliable. Now, even though we are both not living in Göttingen anymore, I moved to Munich last year and he moved to another city. We are still keeping in touch. Sometimes we text each other. We also had phone calls. He was also the one witnessing the day I officially became a German citizen. He even arrived at Rathaus earlier than me and he helped me to film this very important, precious moment. So I feel really so grateful. I have such a friend like him in a foreign country here. Last year in 2024, I moved back to Munich and here I made another friend through dating app. After we met each other twice, he asked if I would be interested to be just friends. So I said, yeah, why not? He's learning Cantonese, so he speaks some of my mother tongue, and he's been to my hometown, so we have actually something in common. And we can also talk about anything, be our authentic self in front of each other, support each other. And when I have some new dates, I would ask for his advice from his male perspective, which is very helpful. I know meeting a pure friend from dating app is really rare. And yeah, my friendships just came from unexpected places, but actually the same rules still apply. Showing up consistently, be patient, be authentic. We don't need to force it or pretend to be someone we are not. I think I have so much luck making friends, but I also have other struggles as a small single East Asian woman living in the Western world. If you are curious about what kind of challenges I've been facing, you can check out this video. That might give you a little bit unexpected and interesting perspective. Okay, besides that, I've realized that living in a bigger city helps. People in bigger cities are just more diverse, so people come from all over, locals, international students, people working in different industries. That variety just makes it easier to bump into like-minded people. When I was in Göttingen, which is a student town in the middle of Germany, it was easy for me to meet friends when I was a student, but later on most of them moved away because they have finished their studies or postdoc contracts. When I was no longer a student and I was working, it was so hard to meet people on the same page. Therefore, I moved back to Munich after 2 years of living in Göttingen, working from home and saving rent. But of course, there are pros and cons living in bigger cities. But for making friends as an adult over 30, I think moving to cities makes a significant difference. The more diverse the environment, the more opportunities there are to meet people organically. I know that many people are holding some negative impressions of Munich, but from my personal experience, I have made more new friends here. Meanwhile, I think other cities could be great as well, such as Hamburg, Düsseldorf, or Berlin. Over the past 8 years, I've mainly lived in Göttingen and Munich back and forth. If you wish to know how much I have changed living in Germany, you can watch this video in which I share what changes I've noticed about myself, some positive, some neutral, some negative, and I think I'm still evolving into a different person from time to time. It's such a self-realization and self-discovery journey. Another unexpected way for building friendships was through board games. Don't worry, you don't have to be competitive. Introverts often thrive in these smaller structural social settings, which makes conversation flow naturally. Personally, I'm not a big board game fan, but many of my friends are, so I've joined them a couple of times. A friend of mine became friends with her co-workers in Frankfurt. To be honest, that kind of friendship often happens by chance, but meanwhile, she is more extroverted, so she invited her colleagues to her birthday party, organized bouldering activities, and held some board game nights. Hobbies like board games, pokers, or even mahjong in Chinese style, that kind of structural social interactions are perfect for building adult friendships, especially for the long winter with little sunlight. Such kind of indoor group activity makes a great difference not just in social life but also mental health. So now it's actually winter in Germany. I'm glad that this year I don't get seasonal depression. If you want to learn how to survive winters in cold countries, you can check out this video. In that video, I shared how I dealt with winter blues and seasonal depression. It might be helpful for some people who have the similar symptoms. After all, from all these experiences, here are 5 tips that I want to share with you guys. First of all, show up regularly. Consistency builds trust and familiarity. Therefore, as an introvert, we don't really have to talk that much, but just to step out of your comfort zone and don't overthink. Just put yourself out there and eventually it will work out. Psychology shows that familiarity builds trust. Just seeing the same people regularly increases comfort and connection. Tip number 2, be patient. Friendships don't happen overnight. Especially as adults, slow building connections are stronger. It takes time to establish trust, especially in Germany. It could be from a few months to a few years. Here, people are quite skeptical when they meet some new people who are too smiley and too friendly. So don't take it personal when people don't reciprocate your friendliness and warmth at the very beginning. But I'm sure some people are more open-minded and eventually you will meet someone who you vibe with if you just try to put yourself out there. Number 3, be yourself and be authentic. I don't pretend to be an outgoing person because I think real friends would appreciate the real me. In general, I think human relationships are more straightforward in Germany. The feedback and reactions are usually quite direct and you don't have to guess their meaning or intention like what we do in East Asia. And this kind of culture also encourages me to be more honest and direct with people. Number 4, mix your friend types. Local friends, international friends, and friends from your hometown all provide different kind of support. Practical, emotional, and cultural. For example, when I have to deal with bureaucracy, having a local friend next to me always helps, no matter they help me with interpretation or not. Sometimes, bureaucracy could be extremely dark, complicated, and harsh for foreigners. Even though I've been here for many years and I already speak German, I still get unfair treatment and discrimination from time to time. I still feel insecure about my German, even though I try my best to improve it, and I obviously still look like an Asian, and it's just a reality and it happens, and I always have to ensure myself this is not my fault and I'm still safe, because with a lot of trauma I always feel unsafe. Even some tiny blocks can trigger my nerves and I would instantly feel unsafe. It takes me really some effort to calm my inner child and assure myself that I'm safe. I'm safe physically and emotionally. I've realized that it's so important to have a local friend that I could talk to, so I could have their opinion from a different perspective and different culture, that I don't picture the worst scenario myself. For the details, maybe I can talk about it in another video when I'm ready. Number 5. Start small. Hobby groups or online meetups. Introverts thrive in smaller, meaningful interactions rather than big parties. Humans are able to maintain relationships with no more than 150 individuals, which explains why depth matters more than numbers. Therefore, the biggest shift from my 20 is the mindset. I'm not chasing quantity, I'm not chasing numbers. I'm focusing on quality and daily life. Once I've found myself and embraced all the little things in my daily life, building a social life abroad becomes achievable and even more enjoyable. Besides the mindset of making friends, I've also changed my mindset in a lot of ways, such as how I see myself and some social norms that I carry with me from my upbringing in East Asia, such as some beauty standards and the idea of freedom. You can check out the link here, and I will also put them in the end of the video description so you can check them out later. If you are also living abroad now, no matter it's Germany or other countries, what's been the hardest part for you? Making friends, navigating the culture and bureaucracies, or homesick, loneliness, or something else? Please let me know in the comments, and let me know if you want me to cover other topics about living abroad or self-care or some other personal experiences. Thank you for listening to my sharing. Take care, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!